Disney has a major Zegler problem on their hands. And by calling it the Zegler problem, I'm clearly referencing all the troubles Disney's having these days because one of their new starlets doesn't seem to know how to keep her big cake hole shut. It is true that Rachel Zegler is the poster child of smug, arrogant, self-righteous, Betty better-than-yous that seem to infest Hollywood these days. And her behavior is guaranteeing that her little butt will be kicked out of Hollywood so fast her head's going to spin. But once she's gone, Disney is still going to have a Zegler problem.
Architectural Artcast.
Rachel Zegler first gained notoriety, infamy if you will, with her disparaging comments of Disney's 1937 Snow White cartoon, going on about 2 years ago? Weird. When those comments resurfaced, causing the ensuing firestorm, clearly somebody from Disney pulled a knot in Rachel's tail, told her, shut your cake hole, because she went radio silent for a few months. And then she resurfaced on a PR campaign where she suddenly loved all the Disney princesses. And in particular, she just adored Snow White. Just as the firestorm seems to be dying out, and just as Disney begins ramping up their PR of the live-action Snow White movie, Rachel has to come along and stir the pot. She uses the Snow White PR as an opportunity to take sides in a controversial conflict. That controversial conflict that her Snow White co-star has multiple connections to the side that Rachel just used the Snow White PR to come out and condemn. Rachel's just not burning bridges, she's stomping the ashes. Rachel just couldn't leave well enough alone. After the presidential election, she wished that everybody who voted for the candidate that she didn't approve of to have eternal suffering. And then there's Rachel's latest stunt at the Oscars. People trying to defend her, saying, no, it's all a misunderstanding. It was just the dress. She was struggling with the dress. Nah, ain't buying it. Anybody who's ever been around a teenage girl for any length of time knows that body language. It's what my grandmother used to call flouncing. The way she flounced out on stage, found her mark, looked into the camera, painted on that fake smile, and spoke in that sicky sweet voice. Anybody who's ever been around a woman any length of time will know exactly what's going on. She ain't happy, and as soon as you get into private, y'all are going to find out exactly why she ain't happy. And the way she stood with her back to Gal Gadot, odds are we know exactly why she wasn't happy. Those were the actions of a spoiled, entitled little girl who, for one of the first times in her life, was having to do something she didn't want to do. So she was throwing a temper tantrum, letting everybody in the room know she wasn't happy. I've laid all this out to show exactly how bad it's gotten for Snow White the movie, for Rachel Zegler's career, and for Disney going forward. But as bad as all this might be, it could all go away. It could disappear overnight as if it had never happened. Well, not for Snow White the movie. It's cooked. But Rachel could definitely save her career, and Disney could solve a lot of problems going forward. The solution is simple, obvious. But Rachel will allow her career to be destroyed, and Disney will allow their reputation to be further damaged and lose millions of dollars before either one of them would ever apologize. We've all been there before. We've let our mouth run ahead of our brain and write a check we can't cash. We've made such a hash of things we can't weasel out. The only way left forward is to own our mistake and apologize. The American public has a long history of being very forgiving if they hear those magic words. I'm sorry. And it's not hard. Well, it can be hard on your pride, but if you're smart and put your pride in your back pocket, it's not hard. If it's so easy, why is Zegler, Disney, and all of Hollywood willing to burn careers, entire corporations, along with millions of dollars to the ground before they would even consider apologizing? Well, there's a number of reasons, but it all starts with arrogance, pride, and hubris. But Randy, they're actors. They could fake honesty and sincerity. They could pretend to be sorry. They could lie. Yep, it's worked in the past, and it will work in the future. All honesty, if Disney were to take my advice and say something different, they would be lying. So why won't they apologize? Well, their arrogance, pride, and hubris is a symptom of their ideology, intersectional theory. The issue at hand is the apology itself, actually saying the words, "I'm sorry." Everybody talks about intersectional theory, intersectional feminism, intersectional Marxism, intersectional, but they don't really think it through, don't understand the consequences of the ideology. The foundation of intersectional theory is guilt. Individuals are assigned groups. Various groups are found to be guilty. What they're guilty of changes over time, but that's a never mind. There is a concentrated effort to get the guilty groups to confess, thus justifying destroying the guilty group. The problem with all this? Groups don't confess. How can they? But individuals can be forced to confess. Groups responsible for an individual's crimes, and an individual is responsible for the group's crimes. Force an individual to confess, and now you can destroy the group. How do you get an individual to confess to their group guilt? Do you take them into a room and shine a light in their eyes, beat them with rubber hoses, rip out their fingernails until they sign on a piece of paper? No. According to intersectional theory, all you need to do is get them to apologize. Because according to intersectional theory, an apology equals a confession of guilt. That's why you never apologize to the mob. For most of us, when we say we're sorry, we mean, I made a mistake, I've learned from it, and I will try to do better in the future. What intersectional theory hears? I'm confessing to my group's crime, thus justifying them destroying you, your family, your business, everybody you've ever known up until the third generation. Never apologize to the mob. Zegler and Disney were endorsing intersectional theory. Snow White don't need no prince. She's going to become the leader she always knew she could be. That's pure intersectional theory. They can't apologize for what they said and did because that would be seen as confessing to intersectional theory's crimes. The group cannot allow that apology, in their mind confession, to stand. It would justify their destruction. And as we all know, traitors and heretics are treated far worse than non-believers. According to Sartre, there is only one way to absolve an individual of their guilt. Intersectional theory demands that its adherents build their entire self-identity around their ideology. We're back to the problem of Plato's cave. Intersectional theory acts as a filter that controls how people perceive and interact with their environments. When somebody encounters something in the world that breaks through their filters and challenges their ideology, by even questioning their ideology, they risk losing their self-identity. Some people can go through that process just fine. Others, they're willing to let their career, their entire industry burn to the ground before they're willing to question their ideology. The Rachel Zeglers of the world will come and go. Kathleen Kennedy will come and go. Bob Iger will come and go. All sorts of individuals will come and go. But Disney and Hollywood won't change as long as they're being infected by intersectional theory. At this point, just changing course would be seen as an apology in of itself, a confession of guilt. Those infected by intersectional theory would rather burn Disney and Hollywood to the ground before they would ever consider apologizing. But like a phoenix from the ashes, something is going to rise out of the ruins of modern Hollywood to replace it. Something that we will have the opportunity to be a part of. At any rate, I hope I've given you all something to think about, and until next time, y'all be safe. If y'all are still here, thank you very much. I really appreciate it. While you're at it, why don't you like this video, subscribe to the channel, click that notification bell. You can hear me yammer on about something else next time. And feel free to share this video far and wide.
Please like and subscribe. Please leave a comment.